fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Voyager Class Gamer Edition Autobot Ratchet from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro. So this is Ratchet as he appears in Transformers War for Cybertron. I definitely like the look of this one. I think it looks pretty cool. I love this artwork here on the front. Definitely makes him look a little bit bulkier than the actual toy is, but maybe we can raise those shoulders up once we get him out of the packaging. I love the artwork here on the front. Close-up mirrored image of that same artwork here on this side, and then over here, wider shot of the same artwork. Got the little D-pad here for the Gamer Edition. Spinning it around to the back, we got the robot mode, we got the vehicle mode. Really has a cool axe. For once, an axe I'm not upset about being included. But yeah, looks pretty cool. I'm excited for this one. I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here's a quick look at Ratchet with the backdrop that's included. If we move him out of the way for a second, you can see just kind of a generic lab type setting from the game. The game, I have to admit, was a little dark and a lot of the background started to blend together for me, but this looks kind of neat, you know, and he fits in here pretty well. So, not the most exciting backdrop, but not terrible. So here's Ratchet out of the packaging. I think he looks pretty cool. He is mostly kind of an off-white color, but he does have a little bit of red to break that up, which I think is really nice, as well as some kind of like darker gunmetal gray color. He got the wheels, all that good stuff. Does have a little bit of a backpack, but I feel like it compresses pretty nicely and doesn't hinder waist articulation or anything like that. The hips swivel, all that kind of good stuff. So not really a big deal there. He is a Voyager, and just to do a quick comparison, here is essentially Gamer Edition Megatron. It's the same mold used by Flame here. Yeah, looking pretty good. I think they're about the same size, so I think that really works. It's a cool looking mold. Right off the bat, I have to say I think the head sculpt is great. I love the bright blue eyes. You got the red helmet there with the white painted face. You got the crest. All that looks really good. Like I mentioned, you got the gunmetal gray here for the windshield. You got the little Autobot symbol there. Some nice paint here on the abdomen. Got these symbols here on the shoulder pads. A little bit of paint up here on kind of the kneecaps. You have some more paint here for the vehicle mode, obviously. But yeah, overall, I think it looks pretty sharp, paint application-wise. He does come with 2 accessories. So he's got whatever the heck this is. I guess this is just a gun he had in the game. It looks like you can pop an effect piece in there, which is pretty cool. Do I have anything offhand? No, unfortunately I don't. But yeah, overall this is pretty cool. Now he can go ahead and hold this if you want, very easily in his hand, or you can do the same as the other Gamer Editions where you pop it off. Now you might be expecting to put it on like this. That is not the case. You have to turn it 90 degrees and it actually pops on like that. So you can see this piece kind of covers the wheel. It won't really fit if you try to do the other way. It can kind of fit because there is kind of like this little notch here. The reason is you have the connection here and it has these 2 little kind of plastic ledges. So if you try to put it on straight away, it kind of tilts a little bit and then this piece starts to run into the wheel. It can kind of happen. Like you can see it's not going to fall right off, but it's actually meant to be connected like that. And you can see a nice strong connection there. And it looks pretty cool. I'm honestly I don't have any proof of this, but I feel like they're probably trying to get away from the arm gimmick because they're making a lot of these just, you know, handheld. And they're kind of showing them that way on the box. So I wonder if they're just trying to get back to regular weapons. Just a gut feeling I have. Could be completely wrong. But he can hold that. And then, of course, he has the giant axe, which comes in 2 pieces. So you take this and you would slide this through the fist, which honestly can be a little snug. But if you just kind of turn it, you can kind of get it through there. And then you can go ahead and attach the axe. There we go. So now you can have this pretty massive axe, honestly. It's right up there with the size of Optimus's. It's pretty huge. And that looks pretty cool. I gotta say, I can't really complain. I think that's kind of neat. Let's pop this out of here. A little easier said than done. It's a little snug, but I feel like you want it to be snug so that it actually stays in there. But those are his 2 accessories. You can store them. And his forearm just came off, of course. You can store the weapons here on the back. So there is a little peg right here on the one side that can peg down here like this. I don't really love the look of that, but you can do it. They also say that you can take the axe and you have like a little connection spot right there onto this tab. So you can connect this on here, which I think looks really stupid. You can kind of flip it around. I think, can you use this one too? Or is that one too small? I think you can use this one. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I think you're supposed to connect it here. Yeah, right there. So you can put it this way if you like. You can put it the other way. Either way, I think it looks kind of dumb. I kind of wish you could do something like this. I always think it looks cooler at a diagonal. But that's the thing. But what I do think is actually really cool. So if you pop this off and you have this connected on here like this, you need somewhere to store the arm. You can actually flip this whole section down. Connect that back in. And you can see that there is a little square peg hole right there. So if you take this right here on the arm and pop that in there, if I can line it up, I can't see anything. Come on, I know you can do it. There we go. Then you can actually close this back up and peg these back in, and it will completely conceal the arm piece. You can see it's inside there. That's actually pretty cool. I think that's really neat. That way you can really kind of pretend the arm transformed into this and he doesn't have a weird hand hanging off his butt, something like that. It fits perfectly in that backpack. So I think that's actually really cool. I applaud that. You know, I would just have him hold the axe before I'd have him stored on the back, or I would just put it off to the side. But I do really like the hand storage. I think that was really successful. So going to go ahead and pop this back out of here. It can be a little snug to get off of there, but once you get it off of there, pop this back on. So I think that's really cool. I like that quite a bit. Let's go through his articulation. So head, side to side. It's kind of a limited ball joint. You can look up a little bit, look down a little bit, but really you can look side to side. No issue there. The shoulder pad pieces are actually, as you can see, on their own piece here. So there's kind of a swivel joint here and like a little ball joint here. So you can move that around. But then here's the actual shoulder underneath. There's a swivel. There's the hinge. There's a bicep swivel. 90 degrees in the knee. The knee, that's the elbow. 90 degrees in the elbow. Wrist swivel, as you can see there. Got a waist swivel there. Kick decently far forward. Kick decently far back. The backpack only gets in the way at the very end. Kick out to the side pretty decently. Now it looks like there's a thigh swivel right there, but there actually is not. You can see that that is all one molded piece. So the thigh swivel is actually right above the knee, right there. So don't be fooled by this molding here, because I thought that was the thigh cut. It's actually just right above the knee there. Then you got not quite 90 degrees at the knee, but pretty close. And then you have ankle tilt. Now this is kind of, you can see that there's a little tab right there. So when this goes in, it can snap into place. If you want to get that ankle tilt, you have to unsnap it, and then you can move it around. And it's kind of one of those things where like it has almost like a ratchet. Like it wants to be either there or there. If I try to do it just a little bit, it kind of naturally goes to that. So that's a bit of a bummer, but it's not terrible. And you can kind of, if you mess with it around a little bit, you can get it. But yeah, pretty good articulation. I think he looks cool. I like the accessories. I love the arm storage on the back. I think that's really cool. All in all, I think he is pretty neat. I like him a lot. It's kind of weird though. Like I kind of feel like he feels off center. So like if this is his, you know, waist, and then if I would just kind of stand his legs straight up, you can kind of see that, like, I don't know, the foot just feels like, I guess it's all right. It kind of feels like there's a little bit of weird angles at play, kind of just the way he's shaped, but it's not a problem. You just kind of have to get used to it. But yeah, I like him. I think he's pretty cool. I think the shoulders are a weird choice, but it's actually kind of neat when you see how they transform. So I do like that. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see this again as Ironhide. I wouldn't mind. I think he's pretty cool. let's go ahead, let's get into that transformation. All right, so we're going to start off by coming around to the backpack, unhooking this section, just bringing that straight out, and then you can fold these pieces down like this, and that'll just hang out there. You're going to kind of grab a hold of this front section and pull this whole section out like that. Now, the directions make a point to tell you to hide this Autobot symbol. You can actually rotate this in. If I get this going like that, I don't know if that matters at all. I kind of feel like you could probably leave it and never do that, but I guess if you just don't want that Autobot symbol there in vehicle mode, again, I don't really think it matters, but they make a point to show you that you can rotate that in. So now that you have this out, you're going to kind of push the head down ever so slightly. It really only goes in about that far. Then you're going to take these pieces and bring these up, and because of the angle they're kind of cut at, they will swivel around like this and sit behind the head. So kind of bring this up, bring this in, and sit that back there. Then that will allow you to kind of bring this down, and then this will sit kind of right inside there. So they actually go into the abdomen, which I thought was really neat. I just thought that was really cool. So now we're going to take the arms, and you can see here that there is a pin joint, and we are going to bend the arms at that pin joint. And then what you're going to want to do is swivel this around. You can kind of see that there's these two super tiny little tabs there. You're going to swivel this around so that this little spot right there goes into that. And you're going to have to kind of bend these backwards a little bit right there. Bring this in, push that down so that it tabs. And sometimes these are a little bit more difficult than you want them to be, but you want that to peg in there. We go. And then you're going to peg this one in right there. So this is going to come down and collapse against that. And so that's how you kind of tuck the arms in against the body, which I think is kind of neat. So again, we're going to pop this like this. This is going to come in like this. Swivel this. Bring this in ever so slightly so that that can tab in. And I don't know why, but this one for me seems to want to tab in less than this one does. I don't really know why. It might just not be angling it correctly. Oh, that popped the other one out. Okay, and then bring this down and tab that in like so. So now we should have our arms completely tabbed in against the body. And this will allow us to bring this whole section straight down. So there is a tiny little tab right there, which is going to tab in right there. And then there are tab spots right here and here that are going to tab on right there and there. So you just kind of line all of that up and push that down. And there you go. So I guess they just didn't want maybe two Autobot symbols that close to each other, because you have the nice one right here. So I'm guessing that's why they tell you to hide this, because otherwise you'd have two, and I guess that would look kind of silly, but you need it for robot mode. So they do hide it. If you want to leave it out, you can. You want to hide it, you can. So there is kind of the whole front section of the vehicle mode. We're going to come down here and spin this at the waist, like so. Then we are going to spin at the, like right above the knee thigh swivel, 180, like this, on both legs. If you had the ankle tilt engaged, you want to push that back up and snap it into place. Make sure you hear it snap, like that. Then you are going to lift up these shin pieces, and they will go pretty much all the way up, like so. Then you are going to take this whole like block here on the inside of the calf, and this is going to flip around. Now there are two joints, so you can see there's one here and one there. So you want to utilize both of those to kind of swivel this around with your clearance issues and whatnot, and bring this all the way around like this. Then you're going to take this section here and flip this up And then this has a little tab right there, which is going to tab in right there. So this is going to come up and go like that. Then you're going to take this section, like the little toe, and bring this up so that these are kind of all in a line like that. So repeating that process over here, this is going to swivel around and stop there. This section is going to flip up and peg in there. And then you're going to want to bring the foot around until those are in a line. At this point, you can unhook. You can see the pin right here. Unhook that on both sides. And this is going to swivel around. And you'll probably have to rotate this around a little bit, but you'll figure it out because you can see how it kind of naturally lines up with the hand area. Like that. So at this point, there is a tab right here that's going to tab into what was the shin piece. And then this will kind of connect here. So as we bring this around, you want to line these up. And there's just a lot of stuff that you have to make sure all gets into place. So first off, we have to make sure this clears. Then we can start to peg all of this together. Like this. The two shin pieces will snap together while also snapping into what were the toes. I think that's all set now. There we go. Just slide that panel. And then these will also peg into each other as well. And then, as you can probably guess, this is just going to drop down into here. So kind of push that in and then let it slide down. And there we have it. Make sure everything is lined up, tabbed in. There we go. That wasn't snapped in. There we go. And that should be Ratchet in vehicle mode. So here is Ratchet's vehicle mode. I like it quite a bit. I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just very kind of compressed. They did a really nice job of keeping it compact. I like the wheels. It rolls pretty well. But it's also just kind of like a, I don't know, flat little ground vehicle. I don't know. Just something about it I really like. You can store the weapons on here as well. You have these two tabs, and they tab in right here, so you can store this right here if you like. And then the axe, you can see that there are two tabs there and a tab there, and you utilize this, this, and this. So you just line up these two like that. And there you go. You can store all the weapons on the vehicle. Again, I think it looks a little ridiculous, but you absolutely can do it. Gonna take all of these off. But yeah, it's just a cool, fun little vehicle mode. I'm thinking back to Ratchet from Bumblebee, and he was kind of more of a rectangle. And I think this is just kind of a cooler vehicle mode, just because I kind of like the shape and everything of this. You have the gunmetal gray windows here on the side. You have the windshield here, and then you have them again on this side. I'm so glad they didn't bother with any kind of translucent plastic, just kind of painting the windows. I think really works. You have the little symbol here on the side. You have the Autobot symbol. And I think it's kind of neat too that this design here, which was, you know, it's the abdomen, but it's also kind of extending onto this section here to give it kind of a cow catcher look. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's a really neat design, and I like it quite a bit. I think Ratchet's great. I think the robot mode looks great. The vehicle mode looks great. I like the accessories. I like the way that you can store the hand in the backpack so it's completely covered up when you have this attached. But if you would rather have him just hold this as a weapon, you have that option too. Not really too much to complain about. Head sculpt looks great. Paint applications are nice. Articulation's perfectly good. I think the transformation is fun and interesting. I think, you know, having him compact up so small into that tiny little vehicle is really neat. I always appreciate that. It was very much the same with Bumblebee Ratchet, although I feel like they're kind of two completely different designs. With all the red here, I'm honestly getting like a little bit of a Red Alert vibe, which is fine. It's definitely Ratchet, but I think it's interesting, you know, to give him that completely red helmet, the blue eyes. Now, again, I know it's based off the video game design, but even still, I think it's really neat. and I think overall he looks really cool. I don't really have too much to complain about with this one. I like him a lot. I definitely will take it again as Ironhide, which I firmly expect them to do, and I'm here for it, so let's go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.